The year 2022 has been a rocky ride for working professionals. The once thriving Silicon Valley seems to have hit a rough patch, and that's putting it mildly. Massive layoff drives from tech giants, be it Twitter and now Meta, have caught thousands of employees off guard. Now the question arises, are tech giants really recession-proof as they claim to be? Or are the current market trends going to get the best of them? That's going to be our focus tonight. Mark Zuckerberg announced dismissing 11,000 of his employees, who represent 13% of his workforce. And that too, through cold emails. As the news of job cuts hit, employees were caught in a wave of anxiety. Some say they were up till 7 in the morning, anticipating bad news in their email inboxes. Many ex-employees lamented on social media how they were laid off through an email. They called Zuckerberg's move inhumane and heartbreaking. The Meta chief, however, admitted that he got it wrong and took accountability of his bad decisions, which led to culling a significant portion of the workforce. But this is not new for Meta employees, as several have been hanging by a thread for months now. In July, Meta's head of engineering instructed managers to identify and weed out their lowest performing employees. More than a month ago, Meta said it would stop making new offers to job candidates. Now, it plans to continue the job freeze through March. Zuckerberg seems to be following the footsteps of the new Twitter CEO, as one of his first actions as the chief twit, Elon Musk brutally fired half of Twitter's workforce and logged them out of their business accounts. Reports say that hundreds of layoffs are underway at Salesforce. The ride-hailing app Lyft and financial services platform Stripe have also cut down their workforce. Computer giant Microsoft laid off nearly 1,000 employees in October. Tech giants have been known as recession-proof. They were considered bastions of economic power for years. The companies have grown rapidly and hired at ravenous speeds. Facebook alone expanded its staff by 28% in the last 1 year. But the spate of job cuts reveals a tumultuous new period in Silicon Valley. Quarterly earnings reports show that even most powerful corporate houses are feeling the impact of inflation and rising interest rates. Several companies blame harsh market conditions for the spate of mass layoffs. Soaring inflation due to the Ukraine war, along with supply chain issues triggered by the pandemic, these are some of the big issues on the list. The market trends have not only motivated job cuts, but they have also made them more challenging for tech startups to raise new funding. Meta, for one, has been struggling since its rebranding and continued investment in the metaverse. Since the major rebranding exercise in October, the company's stock price has fallen by around 70%. This has wiped out billions from Zuckerberg's net worth. However, Meta's chief and his faith still hasn't faltered. He continues to hunt for his immersive internet white whale, which seems to be biting his employees in the back. Now, to understand what's happening, why it's happening, we are now being joined by Daniel Geltrude, who is an American business and tech analyst. Daniel, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
There are reports of layoffs across Silicon Valley. What, according to you, has led to this? Is it cost-cutting or unsustainable growth targets?
Well, it's a combination of those two things. Plus, the economy has changed quite a bit. The environment in which big tech is operating in has changed. Now, when that happens, big tech, who quite frankly got pretty fat over the years, things were going well, they seem to be recession-proof, but maybe that wasn't the case, because now, as everyone is feeling economic pain, we see these tech giants feeling that pain as well. So what do they have to do? The easiest way to bring up profits is to cut people. And that's exactly what we're seeing across the board.
How long will this trend continue? We're now entering a new year, new targets are being set. This is usually the time when people think of changing jobs as well. What do you see ahead?
I think that this could go on for quite some time. And the reason I say that is because I don't see these dark economic clouds lifting anytime soon. So I think all of big tech is going to really have to look at their business models and say, okay, what are we going to do in the future to be able to navigate these waters? And to some extent, this is something new for big tech, because all we've seen from big tech is growth and growth and growth. And now we're seeing a slowdown. So where is the new area for which big tech can grow? That's what I believe the challenge is for all of these companies.
Right, that's a very interesting thing that you mentioned. Big tech is used to seeing growth, growth and more growth. And that kind of explains how these layoffs are being conducted in the first place. If you've seen social media, there's so much talk about poor layoff language, abrupt emails to being fired while you're on maternity leave. There's a lot of anger on social media. I know there's no easy way of saying you're fired, but is there a need for more sensitivity when doing the deed?
Look, these companies, let's put Twitter aside for a moment, because remember, Twitter is privately owned, so Elon Musk does what he wants. But in the case of Meta and some of the other tech giants, they're responsible to their shareholders. That's what matters in the end. So it may not be a nice way or the kindest way to make these cuts, but these companies got to act quickly and they got to move forward. They're not overly concerned about people's feelings as far as employees. What they're concerned about is the feelings of the shareholders. So that's what's driving their actions right now, or lack of sensitivity, I guess you could say.
Right, Daniel, I appreciate your frank answers, at least. Thank you so much for them. Thanks for joining us on WION at this hour.
Thank you.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.